Hi friends, and welcome to the channel, Musings of the Witty Avocado. My name is Anna. I'm an online intuitive eating coach and an eating disorder specialized dietitian. Today we're talking about the health at every size movement, also known as HAES. I feel like there are a lot of misconceptions about HAES, especially in like the health and fitness realm. And so I thought we'd talk about what are my thoughts about it as a clinician and how do I use it in my own practice. For my usual disclaimer, this video is for educational and entertainment purposes only. You should always consult your doctor, clinician, dietitian, whoever before making any changes to your behaviors or lifestyle. Over the last 20 plus years, there's really been a push to fight this war against obesity. There's been this messaging that if you live in a larger body, you're medically obese, you will automatically be at higher risk for a lot of health complications, and therefore you should be doing everything possible to lose weight in order to be healthy. And I think the intention behind it was good in the sense that as a society, we wanted people to take care of themselves and live long, healthy lives. I think there was a point where it just kind of went in the other direction because now, unfortunately, a lot of people in larger bodies face a lot of discrimination, a lot of weight stigma, and they don't necessarily receive the same level of care from their clinicians or really their peers as someone in like a normal shaped body. I've already really talked about the effects of weight stigma on someone's health, especially in the healthcare field, on this channel, so if you're interested, I encourage you to watch one of those videos for more information. But this war on obesity has really caused disturbances in the level and type of care that people in larger bodies often receive, both in society and from their clinicians. When I worked in an outpatient clinic, I often heard from my larger body clients that they would go in to see a doctor for a specific reason and they were either turned down for certain care, they were told that, oh, it's your weight, you need to lose weight, or they weren't even really heard, like their concerns weren't heard because the clinician, the doctor, whoever came into their appointment with the idea of like this person's in a larger body, the only reason why they're having these issues is because they need to lose weight and therefore I'll tell them to lose weight. And even from my own personal experience, I've lived in a larger body my entire life, and even though I have a really good understanding of HAES, intuitive eating, I've made peace with my eating disorder, I've made peace with my body, it still stresses me out to go to the doctors or to go see another clinician because there's that fear of like, do I really have to go through and explain myself? Do I have to say, I eat in a way that feels good to me, I eat a balanced diet in a way that I feel like is acceptable for myself, I move my body in ways that feel good, I do this, and this for my health? Do I have to go in there and explain it every single time? Or are you just going to look at my body, see that I'm in a larger body, and make the assumption that I don't take care of myself, and then prescribe weight loss as a solution for whatever issue I'm coming in to see you for? And that same mentality has really bled through a lot of society. There is this really huge fear in our society to be in a larger body. And I think a lot of that has to do with we see the pain that's associated with being in a larger body. Of people in larger bodies are bullied, they're teased, they're discriminated against, they're seen as this horrible thing, this like plague on society. And it's like, why would I want to be a part of that? Like, I'm going to do everything possible not to be a part of kind of the black sheep of society. And this fear of gaining weight, this fear of being in a larger body has really created this atmosphere in which we do hyper focus on health. We see people who are in larger bodies that don't fit into like the stereotypical norms of body weight, shape, and size as you're not doing what you need to be doing in order to lose weight, in order to be healthy. And so that responsibility of health, of doing everything possible to be healthy, of doing everything possible to be thin, that responsibility is placed on the individual. And there's this moralistic nature that's placed on the individual as well, as if you're not doing everything possible to lose weight and take care of yourself, you are not a good person, you are a bad person. And so there's all this pressure to do everything possible to be healthy. And when it comes down to it, health is really a continuum. It's a continuum for a person. Every single individual is going to have a different definition of health. Their health is going to look differently for them. And it's not fair to place this like blanket generic definition of health on the individual because it might not meet their specific needs. And rather, by placing this pressure and this expectation of someone doing health in the way that society tells us, it ends up doing more harm to their health. And much like that I've already talked about on this channel, When someone constantly faces weight discrimination, they constantly face weight stigma, they constantly hear, you're not good enough, you're lazy, you lack willpower, you don't have any self-discipline. If they constantly hear those things over and over and over again, there's a really good chance that it's going to become internalized. And there comes a point when then those internalized messages become a part of their own belief, and they start to lose their confidence, they start to lose their self-efficacy, or that empowerment that they believe that they can make a change on their health. When I was working outpatient as a dietitian, and even now, like I've heard from a lot of my clients and patients in larger bodies, that because they've heard so many times that what they're doing is not good enough, it feels like no matter what they do, it's just not going to count. It's not going to do anything. Like they've tried so long for so many years to lose weight. They've done everything. They've cut out calories, they've worked out, they've cut out food groups, etc. They've gone on every fad diet, and they still can't seem to lose weight. But they're constantly told by society, you're not doing enough to lose weight. And it's like, in their heads, they're like, I tried everything and it's still not enough, so what's the point? What's the point of even working on my health? What's the point of making changes that benefit my well-being? Because no matter what I do, it's not good enough. And that's why I have a very huge issue with this war on obesity. I have an extremely huge issue with weight stigma and discrimination. And I think as clinicians, as a society, we have a responsibility to change the way that we treat people in larger bodies. And so that's where the health at every size movement comes in. The health at every size approach is an approach that was established by Lindo Bacon. It's evidence-based, but its goal is to address the individual themselves. It is designed to see that individual as a unique person with unique needs who has their own continuum of health, their own definition of health. And so as clinicians, as therapists, as whoever, we work with these individuals to see, okay, this is where you're at, this is your definition of health, and these are your goals. Okay, so we've got that figured out. What are your resources? What do you have access to work on these goals? And what are some barriers that you might be facing, whether that's genetic, that's socioeconomic status, maybe it's time, it's whatever. What are the potential barriers that might be there? And what strategies can we use to get you to that definition of health, to get you to those goals that you have for yourself that are individualized? They're not this blanket statement of you have to eat less, do more, or exercise more, and you'll lose weight, and then you'll be healthy. And the health at every size movement is really meant to stress the idea that the pursuit of health, it's not imperative. It's not this personal obligation. There's no moral value behind it. It's an individual's decision on how they see their health and how they want to pursue health on their own terms. And I think that's the misconception a lot when it comes to the health at every size movement, is that, oh, the health at every size movement means that every single person is healthy no matter their shape and size. That's not what it means. That means that when you're working with a client, maybe they do have a health condition. Maybe they have diabetes, they have heart disease, they have whatever. That doesn't mean that individual is not healthy. That means that there is some sort of limitation, there's some sort of barrier that they're working with, and how can we make individual lifestyle behaviors to support them in managing that chronic disease? It doesn't mean that they're not healthy. It just means that, hey, maybe we need to make a couple of tweaks to support your body so it's able to keep functioning at its high capacity, and you still have that quality of life where you feel empowered, you feel confident in your ability to take care of yourself based on your terms, no one else's. And for myself, I'm a health at every size aligned clinician, or I say that I take a HAZE approach to what I do. And so I follow the principles that are laid out in HAZE to make sure that I'm minimizing harm and I'm doing the most that I can for my clients and for my patients when I was outpatient. So the first principle that I follow is that I'm weight inclusive. I'm not going to look at you and I'm not going to assume your health. I'm not going to pathologize you or say, oh, like you have to have this chronic disease because you're in a larger body. Nor will I idealize a certain weight or shape or size, meaning that I say like, oh, this weight, this shape, this size, this is what you're supposed to be at. Never going to say that. In all honesty, when I'm working with clients, I don't even focus on weight. I very rarely talk about weight. I might talk about it in the first appointment just to like estimate your needs, but weight isn't the primary focus. Weight loss is not the primary focus. My goal is to see what's your definition of health, what are your personal goals, how can we get you there in small, manageable steps that are realistic for your day-to-day life, that have no shame, no guilt, no stigmatization, no discrimination, nothing not a zip attached to it. How can I support you and your goals? The second being health enhancement. I firmly believe that no matter the shape and size of your body, that you deserve equal access to care. And so that means if you were to come in to see me, I'm going to treat you exactly the same as someone who might be in a smaller body. Because I believe that every single person deserves the same level of care. I take the time to get to know my clients. I always joke in the first session that this is going to feel like an interview, like a job interview. And it's because it kind of is. Are you interviewing for a job? No. But I'm asking you a lot of questions to get to know you so that when you and I work together, you have that personalized approach to health. And that's what health is supposed to be. It's supposed to be personalized. It's not supposed to be generic. And it sure is not supposed to be based on the fact that, those fat phobic ideals of like, oh, you're in a larger body, therefore you're automatically unhealthy. No, I'm not going to make that assumption. I want to see you, I want to see your unique needs, and I want to figure out, okay, if you have certain barriers, if you have certain resources, how can we use those to your advantage, or how can we work around those to make sure that we're approaching your goals from the best place possible. The third being respectful care. If you've been on my YouTube, you've been on my Instagram, my TikTok, my blog, I will advocate until I no longer have a voice and I can't hold myself up for ending weight stigma and discrimination. Wholeheartedly. I will get up on my soapbox and I will talk about how we need to stop stigmatizing people for being in larger bodies. We need to stop discriminating against them. We need to stop bullying them, being fat phobic. We need to give everyone the space to just be themselves and take care of themselves in the way that sees fit and to just live their lives. So yeah, I'm going to keep talking about how much I hate weight stigma. I'm going to keep talking about how much I hate discrimination and fat phobia, just like a lot of other social justice issues, because it's important, because it impacts people's well-being and quality of care of life. The fourth principle of the health at every size approach is that we're eating for well-being. That doesn't mean you're going on a fad diet to lose weight. Doesn't mean that you're restricting your calories, you're limiting food groups. It means healing your relationship with food. It means giving you that space and that flexibility to eat a variety of foods without the guilt and shame, without labeling foods as good or bad. But rather finding that balance of, okay, you want to have a play food, you want a pizza, you want to have ice cream, that's cool. That doesn't make you any morally worse than someone who eats a salad or eats an apple or whatever. It means removing that moralistic value that comes with food and realizing that all food is food and working with you to find that balance of eating those play foods, eating those more nutrient-dense foods. But more importantly, working on that relationship with food so that you're honoring your hunger cues, you're not skipping meals, you're not depriving yourself. Checking in with that satiety. Are you full? Are you satisfied? Did you enjoy your meal? And finding that balance. And the last principle of the HAZE approach is really incorporating movement that's enjoyable and it's life enhancing. It means that you don't have to go to the gym to burn off a bunch of calories and punish yourself for a meal. No, you don't have to go to the gym unless you want to. If you enjoy going to the gym, that's cool. I'm not going to stop you. But it doesn't mean that's a requirement. If you hate going to the gym, we'll find something else you enjoy. Maybe it means going for walks, or going swimming, or going hiking, or dancing around your apartment, or playing with your grandchildren, or cleaning the house. Incorporating forms of movement that you enjoy, but are also within your physical capabilities and are within your personal limits. I'm not going to go tell you to run a mile every single day if you've never ran before and you hate it. Ugh, who's going to maintain that level of physical movement? Now, if you're someone who loves dancing and you love listening to maybe some disco music, I might say, hey, how about we dance to disco music for 20 minutes every day? Or let's add some variety to your movement. But I want you to have joy in movement because I want you to see and focus on what your body is capable of rather than what its limitations are. Because when we can see what our body is capable of, we're more likely to continue moving, especially if we enjoy it. The health at every size approach allows me to be a holistic dietitian. It allows me to see the person for who they are, the individual. It allows me to get to know them, know their likes, their dislikes, what makes them tick. but more importantly, what's important to them? What are their morals? What are their values? What's their definition of health? And how can I support you in achieving that level of health? What small, tangible goals can we work on that build on one another over time, so that by the time 3-6 months happen, those small goals have become a lifestyle change, and you have gained that confidence and that level of empowerment to take care of yourself in the way that you see fit, not based on society and what they believe. That's where I think the health at every size approach is incredibly important in how we treat people in larger bodies, because it takes away that identity of, oh, you're in a larger body, you're automatically unhealthy, to you're an individual with unique needs and unique goals, and you're fully capable of working on those and accomplishing them in any way that you see fit. So those are my thoughts on health at every size approach and how I feel it's really beneficial for an individual's health. If you need more information, I'll leave some links down below of areas you can kind of do some more research, learn a little bit more. I encourage, if you're not already, subscribe to this channel, follow me on social media, so that you can learn more about the health at every size approach, what it means to be weight inclusive, intuitive eating, and so much more, because I firmly believe that all people deserve to eat food without feeling guilt and move their body in ways that feel good to them. I'll also leave a link down below in case you're looking for a dietitian to help you on your personal goals and you want someone who's going to treat you as an individual. I'm happy to have a chat with you and see if we're a good fit. But otherwise, I hope you have a fantastic day. Thank you so much for your time, and just remember to be kind to yourself. Bye.